Hey guys, I'm Brian Pawel, doing a developer interview here at PSVR without Parole, and with me, oh man, I'm so excited. You don't even know. I'm gonna tell you why you don't even know and why I'm so excited. Sitting here with Pawel Gaida, community manager over at Kluge Interactive, makers of the upcoming Synth Riders on PlayStation VR.
What?
Pawel, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for the invitation. I'm so happy to be here and meet your audience.
Dude, I don't know. No one knows this. Maybe some people know this. I don't know. You were the first developer interview I ever did like 2.5 years ago. You asked me to do it, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, that doesn't sound like something I'm capable of doing. I have no idea. And now we've done so many of them. So we're coming full circle. You're with Kluge Interactive now instead of, it was Carbon Studio, right? I think you were working with the Wizards team.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
Man, but it feels so good to see you again, man. It's like I feel like we're having a nice little family reunion right now.
Yeah, totally. And I totally forgot that was the first interview. I'm not even sure I was aware of it. I was just like, yeah. So yeah, it's great to hear, and especially that this format worked for you, and there were many interviews following. So yeah, that's great.
I guess the first question I've got to ask is Synth Riders came out on PCVR all the way back July 2018. That's, oh my God, like was that 3 years ago at this point?
Yes, we've been celebrating the third birthday a couple of days ago. Yes, correct.
What took so long to get it to PlayStation VR?
Oh yeah, I knew that you were going to ask this question. So yeah, we first launched on Steam Early Access 3 years ago, and that was at that time it was just like two people working on the game. It was like a passion side project of the creative director of Kluge, and together with a programmer, Jan, they started working on this prototype even before, 3 years, something like 4 years ago. And then when we first launched in Steam Early Access, it took more than a year to launch on Quest and to go full release on Steam. And with PlayStation, for this whole time, we had this platform and all the players on PlayStation VR in mind. But this is, the thing about PlayStation is that when you want to launch when the game is finished, basically.
Yeah.
So you usually do not do it with early access titles. And even though we left early access almost 2 years ago, in reality, we kept developing the game just like it was still under development. So we kept adding modes, not only music packs, because music pack is something that you can easily, it's like an add-on. But when when you add different, totally different modes to the game, it's quite a process. And with PlayStation, we've been for all this time we've been waiting for this right moment when we can do what we could call a content lock. So we know that this is we are happy with where the game is right now. We don't have any more crazy ideas for new modes. So yeah, let's start working on the porting process. But in reality, at one point we realized that it's been so long that we actually have to start porting to PlayStation, even though we still have a couple of new modes, or at least one mode planned for the game. So even after we launch on PlayStation VR, we are still going to add at least one more new mode for free to the game. But we kind of wanted to slow down with the amount of updates, because it's not that easy to push an update or change something on PlayStation. And also that then when we actually realized that it's a high time, also the porting process also took quite some time. So here we are.
Before we get too far away from it, you mentioned a new mode that might be coming in the future. You want to elaborate on that a little bit, or is that super secret information?
Yeah, it's quite secret.
Okay.
But what I can say that other than, because when for someone who's not aware of the process, since we launched the game, we have added, for example, a spin mode, which makes the nodes come from different directions. We have added challenges. So every week we push some in-game challenges that are synced online. So we see what's the challenge for this week. We have added revamped the multiplayer mode several times actually. And we've also been adding music packs. So we have added 5 music packs, released 5 music packs already. And we plan to add more, but not only this, we still have something that's going to be a free update, and not just music, but something different. And yeah, I'm sorry, I just cannot share any more details.
No, that was
But
great.
for someone who's, yeah, like you can look back at what kind of stuff we've been adding, and that might be a clue to what may be coming in the future.
Nice. So I don't want this to take a negative turn, right? Because I've actually been playing Synth Riders all day today on PlayStation VR, and I'm having a blast. It was actually my first experience with the game. I know everyone else has been playing it on other platforms and stuff, and telling me, "Oh, you got to check this out. It's so good." And I finally played it today, and yeah, they were right. It's a lot of fun. So let's get the negative out of the way, and let's talk about the big elephant in the room, and that's that there will not be any multiplayer for the PlayStation VR version at launch. Like, what's going on behind the scenes? Do I need to call Shuhei? What's happening? Talk to me.
Oh yeah, so that's correct, and we are definitely not happy with it. But yeah, I may try to like give you an insight into like how the process looks. So basically, we have added multiplayer mode to the game. I believe it was sometime after the full release on Steam and after the Quest release. I have to check it because there's like so many,
Right.
like so many dates. But we very recently we have like made a huge upgrade to the multiplayer mode. So we have changed a lot about it. We have added like changed the way the avatars behave, like in the lobby. We have actually right now the lobby is a space, shared space with other players. You can jump around it,
Nice.
and it's been like when we released it, we've been already very like far advanced in the porting process for PlayStation VR. So it's been like the multiplayer mode has been there before, but it has changed somewhere during the process. Also, sometime during the process, we have actually got like we've learned all the details about the restrictions and rules that apply on PlayStation if you want to launch a game with multiplayer. And there are even like it gets even more like challenging if you want to have it cross-play. So um, like let people from different platforms play together.
Right.
And for us, that was like the first thing, like that was the key thing that when we launch with the multiplayer, it has to be with crossplay. So just like people can play on Steam and Quest together and Viveport, we just don't want to release without this functionality. So considering all of this, the decision we had to make is either go for like wait a couple of extra if weeks or maybe even like a couple of months before we meet all the requirements and we get everything approved to be launched with a multiplayer and cross-platform multiplayer, or we could just like first launch with single player and party mode, which is like you share the headset with other people
Right.
around, like in your friends and family, and then add it as a free update to the game as soon as it gets approved. So we don't have a specific timeline yet for it. But we are like working very actively on it, and it's a process that it goes beyond just a development. Because to be honest, our some of our testers have actually played during their like testing phase. They have played multiplayer together with people from PlayStation, like on PlayStation with people from Quest and Steam. Of course, these people were not aware that that player is on PlayStation. So it's actually like almost ready to go from this perspective. But
Yeah.
there's much more to it than just porting the thing. There's just like a lot of requirements we have to meet. And not knowing exactly how much it may take, we just wanted to make sure that the game is out as early as possible, even though it's been, as you said, it's been quite some time already.
Yeah, we know over here with that Parole, we hear it's from developers all the time that Sony, as great as they are, as much as we love them, they don't make certain things as maybe as easy as they could be. But what I'm hearing from you is we waited a year for multiplayer on Crisis Brigade 2 that just came out this past week. We're still waiting. It's been almost a year for the Beat Saber multiplayer. That hasn't happened yet. We're not looking at a year though. That's what you're saying.
No, it's like
It's
like
soon.
our plan is soon. Like there are like many unknowns, but much less unknowns that were before. And we know exactly what we have to do at this point. We have to like go through a certain process, especially because we want to have it cross-play. But we will not, like rest until it's out, and it is right now and going to be a top priority for our team.
Just to talk a little bit about Kluge Interactive, you said that when the development for Synth Riders started, it was like 2 people. Where are we at now? How big is the team?
Yeah, so basically at that time the company was, I believe, something around 15 people, but that was an agency that was mostly doing design, like a web design,
Okay.
Mobile design, like a service company. And the creative director of that company, Abraham, he started this process, this as a prototype, because the team got access to VR, got very excited. That was back, like 2016, 17. So there were like 2 people working on this side project, even though the team was bigger. And right now, I believe we are more than 20 people, and we have a dedicated team that's doing VR games. And even in plural, of course, Synth Riders is still, the team is there, but we are even right now looking at some future titles. And yeah, as I said, we have a full dedicated team with people who do, like product manager, community marketing, developers, 3D artists, because the game became quite popular, and by the time we kept staying in touch with the community, and when they offer feedback, you actually want to be able to meet it and to change and up and make the game better based on this feedback and keep developing it. So we keep doing it. It's almost like a game as a service process, almost like this. Of course, it's like the core gameplay is a single player game. Of course, the multiplayer, people enjoy it a lot, and we really can't wait to meet this new audience, like the PlayStation players, to let them join us. But yeah, there's a lot of going on when it comes to updates and new stuff being added or to the game. So yeah, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, the multiplayer specifically has been getting a ton of positive press. People keep equating it to like Mario Kart and stuff, which, I mean, music to my ears. That's fantastic. We know that the Beat Saber mode is very, very simple, very straightforward. It's just like everyone's playing. It's a score attack, and that's it. So I had to bring Beat Saber up in this conversation at some point, I guess, and I just did. So let's go with that. The music rhythm genre has definitely been resurging ever since Beat Saber. It seems like everybody wants to make the next big rhythm game. This is the first time I feel like that's happened since back in the Rock Band Guitar Hero days. What does Synth Riders do, in your opinion, in the team's opinion, to really separate itself from games like Beat Saber or all the Beat Saber clones out there?
Oh yeah. So the funny thing is that when we started working on this game, when the prototype was conceived, that was way before Beat Saber was out or first announced. And we have launched on Steam Early Access just 2 or 3 months after Beat Saber. So it's been we are around for almost the same time, because and the game on the surface, they may look similar, but they are quite different. I would say they are more different from each other than, for example, Call of Duty and Battlefield, or some racing games. And what makes our game unique, something that we are very proud of, is the functionality of rails. So in our game, you have nodes, and you also have these longer rails, like these beams of light, that you have to follow with your hands, with controllers. And that means that you can, the direction of how do you touch the nodes and rails does not matter. It's not about your wrists in this game. But actually, when you start playing, the game can make you, with a smart, clever mapping, the game can make you actually feel like you're dancing, or even actually dance. and it gives you this freedom, this feeling of freedom and freestyle, like a lot of freedom when it comes to movement because of these rails that can make your body go like a lot of different, like ways, activate your entire body. That with combination with walls that you have to avoid can really make for this combination where the music and you become like it's just an amazing way to experience music, that's for sure. And also because of the rails, the movement is just quite different from what you're going to get with other games most of the times.
Yeah, no, and I can totally see that now that I've finally played it. Now that I finally checked it out, like I said, I played the PSVR version today, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Synth Riders is easy to sell with videos, and actually that's a theme that I think is going to be really popular this summer. Some really great games, if you watch a video of it, you're like, you know. But then the second you get in there and you play it and like you've got the headphones in and you're experiencing it, it's a radically different experience. And VR is one of those things that you do have to experience for yourself. And the flat screen representation never does it justice. So again, Synth Riders, I think people are going to really have to get in there before they decide if it's something for them or not. Which actually makes me wonder, like, how what's the possibility of getting a demo out there just so people can be like, oh, let's give this a shot, see if it's my kind of thing.
Yeah, once we're like done with everything we're working on right now with the base game and multiplayer, we are going to look into it because on one of the platforms, not on Steam but on Quest, there's a thing called AppLab, like a alternative store with games for Quest, and we have a demo there. And yeah, it seems to be like appreciated by a lot of people who were like not sure if it's their thing, but then it seems to like help many people to make the decision whether the game is for them or not. Like this is what demos do, and as you say, for VR, and yeah, and also probably for a game that's at first look quite similar to another game that probably most people already have in their library. The question is, why should I like give this one a try too? So yeah, and we hear it a lot. I find it a little bit sad because as a marketing director, I'm responsible for stuff like trailers, and sometimes people go like, "Hey, the trailers, I love the game," and I'm go like, "What am I doing wrong? Like how?" We experiment with mixed reality trailers, with first-person trailers, like a lot of different like formats. But every time there's going to be someone who's going to say like that, I would not buy this game just for a trailer, because it's not doing justice to the game.
Right.
But I hope that we are like improving at least like a little bit with each new trailer.
Yeah, we make fun of, and not specifically Synth Riders. I think it started with Tarzan, and then maybe Wraith: The Oblivion Afterlife. It's like every time I see a mixed reality trailer, I go, "Yep." Like I just kind of giggle a little bit and go, I don't know. Is this the way to do it? Like, I know it's tough, man. It's. I don't think there's a good way to advertise VR yet. So PlayStation tried their hand at it. They didn't do the mixed reality thing, and now everyone's trying the mixed reality thing. I don't know what the best way to do it is. I've never been excited about VR until I put a VR headset on my head, and I think that's the only way to advertise. Like you and me and like 100,000 other people just need to run around the world with VR headsets in our hands, throwing them on people just randomly in the middle of the street, being like, "You, you're now in VR, isn't it cool?" They're like, "Whoa, this is fucking cool."
Yeah, that's like with VR in general. But then I guess like maybe if someone, okay, so we get the headset, you buy like 2 or 3 most popular games, but what happens next? Like how people choose from like what title should be the next game. And actually today, like accidentally, I checked what was the most popular tweet on Oculus subreddit.
Yeah.
And it's right now it's one of the biggest. I think it's right after PSVR, one of the biggest subreddits for VR or related on Reddit. And what was the most popular post ever? And it was a post that says that Oculus, you should advertise VR games with 360 videos. So just like imagine that I guess for at least for some genres of games, that could work, because if a game is beautiful and it's mostly about visuals, for example, or like beautiful locations, then like a 360 video is just like being there inside the game to a certain degree. But if it's more about interactions or physicality and movement, like Synth Riders, still you could just like passively observe how someone's playing. So it's still not, that would not be the same feeling.
Yeah, it's difficult, man. It's difficult. I'm glad I'm not in your position. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
So Pawel, we have a lot of questions from a lot of the game cats out there, and a lot of them seem to know a lot more about Synth Riders than I do. For example, or Seek the PS5 VR Pizza Bet Cat asked, how did the Caravan Palace DLC happen, and are there any other bands to expect?
So this is a fifth music pack that is being added to the game. The first one, actually that was the first one. The first one was Electro Swing Essentials.
Okay.
And that was 5 songs or 8 songs from various electro swing bands like Power of Stellar and Swing Rovers, Jimmy Berry. And at that point, what we realized is that people love this pack. People love this kind of music. Mm-hmm. For many of them, it was the first time they actually heard electro swing, because it's not like super mainstream genre, but it seems to be we realized it was a perfect fit for the game, and the maps were fantastic. The maps, so like the beat maps that the team created, and that was the pack that really make you dance. Really, it's the music makes you move and dance, and people loved this pack very, very, very much. So then we launched three other packs. One of them was with songs from, for example, Muse. Then we had a pack with songs from The Offspring, Bad Religion, like some punk rock bands, some synthwave, some songs from Monster Cat. But then, ever since we launched Electro Swing Essentials, people who are into this genre were like, guys, you should really add Caravan Palace. Even though Caravan Palace is more than electro swing, like some of the albums are like pure electro swing. Some of them, the most recent ones, go like experiment with different like electronic genres. The songs we've picked, they should really work for people who enjoy this first music pack. So the reason we've added this one is because how great it feels to move and dance to this kind of music. And also the question is like, someone might be interested how we went from, like being an indie game, like we are still indie, but initially we were like much lower profile artists, amazing artists, but less popular. And then like when the game started to become more and more popular, we've managed to get access to bands like Muse and The Offspring and Caravan Palace. And this is to a certain extent because we have our CEO has a lot of music background. He used to have a magazine to review music. And he's the one who's like responsible for like trying to get like license from all these amazing bands. And yes, we do have plans for more music packs and known artists.
Yeah, I was actually shocked when I jumped in, and one of the first songs I played was by Pennywise. I was like, wow, that's not something I expected. Is the range of music here is pretty incredible. You touched on this. I don't know how much further in depth you can go, but some of the cats are really curious about how to get licensed music into games. Rypop asked, he said, how hard is it to obtain licensed music, and how hard was it to incorporate some of the more rock tracks into Synth Riders?
Yeah, so licensing is pretty complicated, and the thing is that usually someone else owns right. I'm not a specialist, but I think that different people own rights to the composition, and different people own rights to the master, so like the produced version of the song.
Gotcha.
So you have to get in contact, like you have to get the band excited, the label excited, like everyone in between, and then you have to explain to them that this is a VR game, so it's not Rock Band. So like the like the pricing and the expectations should be like a little bit different because
Yeah.
VR is growing super fast, but it's still a niche compared to like mainstream gaming. Uh, and then there's this process like you try to like secure the licensing, make sure everything like is agreed on and like signed. But you still have like you have to work with the mapping team very early because mapping can take like 6 or even more weeks just for one song
Oh,
or like a one pack, that's for sure, because people can like map 1 or 2 songs, and this is a very long process, and we have 5 difficulty levels, so we have to think about like 5 times each song. The maps, this is all handcrafted. It's not like automatically generated based on the beats or something like that.
right.
And then when it comes to rock, yeah, it's just like you said, you have Pennywise, for example. And first, the game was almost exclusively synthwave and like similar electronic genres. But then we started to like add more various music. And some people even doubt like when we first announced that we are launching a pack with punk rock, like these songs from 90s and early 20s, like a rock, not having to do anything with synth or electronic music, EDM. Some people doubt whether it's a good fit, but just like with VR itself, this is something you have to try for yourself. And it turned out that actually it's just fun.
Yeah.
So we want to like keep extending the library, and it's not like this pack is for you, this is not for you. We're more like, you haven't heard about this before, go try it. Let the game be your like discovery tool for new music. And it happens a lot. So people explore, like discover new bands and new genres even with the game,
Yeah.
through the
So
game.
so we're expecting. Excuse me. I mean, there's over 50 songs that are included with Synth Riders at launch, right?
Yes, correct. 54 songs
And then
that
obviously,
are like,
sorry.
yeah. And then you have 25 DLC songs. So we have 5 music packs. Each of them is 5 songs. So this is, as I said, you have Electro Swing, you have Caravan Palace, you have Synthwave, that's with Muse, because these are songs from the latest Muse album, Algorithm, like songs like Algorithm. And you have Monster Cut and Adrenaline, which is punk rock.
And we'll continue to
And
see DLC as time goes on. You guys are going to be supporting this for the foreseeable future, obviously.
yes, yeah, that's safe to say that based on like the relationship we have with community right now and like how much interest there is around the game, we are definitely going to keep adding content. And also our like we don't actually have like an OST because all of the songs, all 54 songs, these are like licensed songs. So there was never like a composer who would create music just for our game. We from the very beginning it was licensed music, like hand-picked music that we love and want to share with the players.
Nice. Donnie the Game Cat asks, Synth Riders seems like the perfect fit for PlayStation VR 2 in the Orb controllers. Do you plan on bringing Synth Riders to PSVR 2? And he's asking about the longevity of the game support in the future. Let's stick with PSVR 2. Uh,
Yes.
I'm assuming you can't talk about any plans that you have, but it does seem like it would be the perfect fit for PSVR 2, and we finally be able to ditch this whole light tracking thing, and you could turn it all the way around, like, and still be able to play with motion controllers. Is that something that excites the team, like the future of VR technology?
Yes, very, very much. So yeah, as you said, like Quest, for example, gave a lot of freedom. And I think this is actually something that inspired us to work on the spin mode, which is a mode that allows you to like, the nodes make you turn like 360. Um, and we agreed that Synth Riders is a great fit for PSVR 2, and it's going to be definitely released on that platform. We 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 even hope to have it day one, but yeah, I cannot confirm it yet.
Of
But
course. There's still a lot of
yeah,
details
we
about
are.
PSVR 2 we need to know, and how upgrading from PSVR 1 games to PSVR 2 games will work. But it's good to know that you guys are already looking into that.
Yes, totally, we are.
Awesome.
Uh, yeah.
Pawel, I've got to say thank you so very much for hanging out and talking about Synth Riders with me today. I know the PSVR community is super excited for this, and I can't wait to talk more about it. And can't wait to talk about DLC and multiplayer mode and all the stuff that's coming to Synth Riders in the future. But I do have one more request of you before we say goodbye.
Go ahead.
We need a meow and a little swipe for all the cats.
Yeah.
It's good.
Like this?
I like it. Very straightforward, man. So awesome, Pawel. It's great reconnecting, man. I can't. Let's not make it 3 years until our next interview.
Oh yeah, totally. And yeah, like I wanted to say thank you to everyone because you said that there are a lot of people excited about this title, and we see it, and it makes us very happy. Every time someone goes like, there were people on our Facebook for the last 3 years asking when the game is coming to PlayStation VR. And all the time it was like, soon, we're working on it. It's when we started the porting process, we could actually say like officially that it's happening. Yeah. So it's been a long time coming, and we are very happy to finally bring the game to all of you on PlayStation VR. So have fun and enjoy it.
Awesome. Thanks again, Pawel. My best to you and to the team, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Bye. Thanks.